Well, okay. Well, friends, today we are going to talk about the next topic, that is footnote, as well as after this we will speak about bibliography. Now, what is the meaning of footnote? Footnote is something which is given at the feet of the pages. For example, you must have read certain good books, and generally they are having footnote. For example, see, this is a book by Irfan Habib, Essays in Indian History, and you see, are you able to see this? See, this is the main text. This is the main text, and then here there is a footnotes. Can you see these footnotes? They are separate from the body, as well as you can see the font is little smaller. थोड़ा सा छोटा font है इससे तो, and there is a space here, so you can quickly understand that the main text ends here, up to here, and here we have footnote. There are footnotes on every pages, and also there are numbers. For example, here there is 56, 57. There are this kind of numbers are there. So footnotes are something which is given at the foot of the page. And what for this is given? You must have no, you must be knowing this. This is a very simple thing. The footnotes are given in order. There are different reasons for the footnotes are given. The footnotes are given so that in the main text you have referred certain book and you want to give that reference. For example, you see the 56, number 56. Here there is 56. Irfan Habib has written something here, and he has given this 56 number here, which is written on the top of the sentence. At the end of the sentence, it's written on the top, not in the same line. And this 56, so this information, last 2-3 pages information, he has taken it from particular book, and that book he wants to refer here. For example, that book information he has taken from Sharma's book, Aspects of Political Ideas and Institution of Ancient India, which is published from Delhi in 1959, and that information came on the page number 220 of the Sharma's book. So the footnote is given in order to refer to the book from which you have taken an information. For example, if I am writing something and I am referring to the book of Prachi Deshpande, so and I feel that I need to give authenticate the information. I need to give the evidence from which book I have taken the information. I will put a number here and I will give the explanation in the footnote. So footnotes are given for the different reason, and one of the important reason is to give information about the source from which you have taken the information. So it is like acknowledging the source of information. Then another reason for which the footnote is given, to support the statement made in the text. For example, if suppose while writing a text, while writing the main thesis, or while writing a book, at one particular place a particular word come. For example, let us say the word like dharma. Dharma is there in the Indian tradition, and here you, for example, if you are narrating, let us say Bhagavad Gita, or the information something about Bhagavad Gita, and then you write a sentence that according to the Shastra Dharma, fighting was Arjuna's dharma. Now, dharma, explanation of dharma, if you start giving it here what is dharma and all, it will go into the so many pages, and that will disrupt the communication, that will disrupt the narration. So instead of just giving information, you give a number 1 2 3 4, whatever it is, and at the end you give an footnote that you put the same number and give an explanation that dharma is considered as a sacred duty. Dharma of a different varna was different. Dharma of a different situation was different. Like that, you can go on explaining dharma maybe in 3 to 4 lines. So the another information, another way. First, what for footnotes are given? Footnotes are given. First thing is to acknowledge the source of information. Secondly, to support the statement, you have to give some support to your statement. For that, you give an explanation to give additional information about the point made in the text or people referred in the text. For example, again, you write something in the main text and you want to give some additional information. For example, let us say, you are studying about a battle of Panipat, and there, when Suja Udawla, the Nawab of Awadh, he was in a dilemma whether he should join Ahmad Shah Abdali or whether he should join hands with the Marathas. And there the reference come that Shuja Udawla's mother tell him that the Marathas have helped your father Sabdarjung. So now this is a statement that came from the mother of Sujaudola, and the Maratha giving help to Safdarjung is an information that came there. But when did the Marathas help Sujaudala's father Safdarjung, and all that information if you start giving here, the main subject, that is the battle of Panipat, will be left aside and the narration will go into the another direction. So instead of doing that, what you give is you follow the same pattern. You give number there, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and at the end you give an explanation that in 1752 Marathas have helped Safdarjung to defeat the Pathan. So, likewise, so add any additional information if you're going to go. So the first thing is that to authenticate the source of information. Secondly, for explaining to support the statement in the text, to give additional information. And next thing, you give a footnote that if the information that you want to refer here has already came in the text earlier, or it is going to come in subsequent pages in much more detailed manner. For example, again, let us go back to the concept of dharma, or the word of dharma, or more recent example I will take instead of doing that. For example, again, Battle of Panipat and the information about Safdarjung being held by the Marathas. If that information has came in detail already in the previous pages, you can just give a footnote 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the end you give an explanation. Refer to page number. Suppose this is page number 68, refer to page number 46, or you can just write page number 46. So anybody who reads your book, your thesis, he will understand that this detailed information about Safdarjung receiving help from the Marathas has already came in the previous chapter. Next, if the information is coming in the future, coming in the subsequent pages, for example, after the Battle of Panipat, when you know Parvati Bai, Bhau Sahib's wife, she was taken to the safety by one person. I am forgetting the name. Anyway, if you are writing a sentence that Parvati Bai, she has escaped from the battle of Panipat. Now here you just give one information because you are describing the battle. But then later on, you have given a much more information about Parvati Bai reaching to the camp of Nana Sahib Peshwa, and then later on she was carried to Pune. If that information has already came in the subsequent pages, you can just put a number here, footnote, and then you can, give information here, page number, let us say 215. So here you are writing on page number 69, you are describing the battle, but the episode of escaping of Parvati Bai from the battle of Panipat, you have just referred here, but the detailed information about the escape and Parvati Bai reaching Nanasaheb Peshwa and subsequently to Pune has came on page number 215. So here you will write page number 215. So anybody who is quickly feel interested, oh, what might have happened to Parvati Bai and where she has gone after the battle of Panipat, he will just quickly go to the page number 215 and satisfy his curiosity that she, with a trusted servant, she had reached to Nanasaheb Peshwa. If the information is already referred, well. Next thing, the footnote is given. For example, if you are doing your research and you reach to certain conclusion, and then while, if you remember, I told you while studying about the primary and secondary sources, that when you read the secondary sources second time, you start your research by reading the secondary sources, then you go to the primary sources, and then you read the secondary sources again, either the sources that you referred earlier or the new sources as well. Now when you read the secondary sources, one important thing that happens is that many times your own finding gets authenticated by some other scholar. The conclusions that you are reaching has similar to that conclusions has already reached by the another scholar. For example, I'll give one interesting example that happened with me. My PhD was on Bhakti tradition, and while reading Bhagavad Gita, in one of the passages, Krishna tells to Arjuna that even if somebody has committed sin, and even if somebody is a woman or Shudra, and even if they come to me and worship me, I will emancipate them. So, a thought, just a flashing thought came to my mind that probably Krishna was a person who wanted to give right of religious or spiritual progress to women and Shudra as well. So, is he a first recorded social reformer? Now this thought came to my mind and I wrote this while writing my thesis. And while reading the secondary sources, there is a very nice book on Bhakti by Krishna Sharma. She also refers to the similar thing, that there might have been social reformer who are not recorded in the history, but in the personality of Krishna, we find that reformist agenda being personified. That he doesn't want that spiritual right to spirituality should remain to upper caste male only, but it should be given to the Shudras as well as to the women as well. And even if the sinner, somebody has committed sin in the past, but he repent and goes to the God, he should be forgiven. So this is what is called your own finding, or your own conclusions are being verified by another scholar, and you can write those things in the footnote. You can give reference. So while writing my thesis, I can just give a reference that as Krishna wanted to give right of spiritual progress to women and Shudras and sinners as well, probably he personifies the reformist uh, attitude in the Indian society. And I will give footnote here, let us say 3, and here 3, I will write 3 here and give an explanation. Similar kind of conclusion is reached by Krishna Sharma, and then I will refer to her book. So, are you getting me, or are you finding it too complicated? Well, additional information, like I told you, any additional information you can give in the footnote. But there is one thing. If the information is too much, for example, let us go back to the example of dharma. Now, dharma word came. Now we are Indians. Generally, we understand what is the meaning of dharma. Being a teacher, my dharma is to teach and study. Being a father, my dharma is to take care of my child. Now, dharma is a concept which generally we understand. But if your target audience is Western audience who need an explanation of dharma, and in the footnote, if you go on explaining dharma, it's quite possible that it may need 3-4 pages, or maybe 8 to 10 pages. So that kind of longer information or the longer explanation if you need, then you don't give it in the footnote. But in the here you just write, let us say number 2, and then here number 2, and here you write appendix 1. So what is appendix 1? Appendix is, you again just before the bibliography, you give an appendix. Probably appendix may not be there in this book, but you can give an appendix 1, and there you give a detailed explanation of the concept of dharma. So the information is too much, it's not to be given in footnote, but this to be given in the appendix. Well, next thing is that you must remember while giving footnote, just to make your thesis look heavy and scholarly, you should not give footnote. For example, if the information is very well known, everybody knows about that, then in that case you don't have to really give footnote. For example, who was the first prime minister of independent India? Obviously, generally people know it is Jawaharlal Nehru. Chhatrapati Shivaji was born at the fort called Shivneri. So the information which is of common nature, for that you don't have to give footnote. Well, now this is the one method of giving footnote. I told you it is given at the end of the page. And you see the numbers here. For example, on this footnote, on this page, the footnote ends at 55 and 56 starts from here. So footnotes are generally given in subsequent numbers. Like he must have started with footnote number 1 from the page number 1. Yeah, see here. Here is a footnote page number 1 on the one number footnote, then 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, and subsequently we see here on the page number 69 there are footnote number 56, and so on and so forth. Sometimes some of the authors, they follow the system of, instead of giving footnote, they generally give end note. So all that thing will be taken at the end of the chapter. Numbers will remain same. Only thing is that you have to just cut and paste it at the end of the chapter. That is also another way of, but then that is called end note, but the pattern remains same. Generally footnotes are numbered serially, starting from one page to the last page of your chapter. It is not that on the first page you have 1, 2, 3 footnote, and then from next page you start again from 1 to 3. It's not like that. 1 to 3, then you should start from the fourth, 5, 6. All right, and then if see here. If the book is already referred earlier and you are taking the information from the same book again, you don't have to write all that book titles in detail. You have to just write EBID. See here, if you are able to see, it's too small probably, but I'll read it out. The footnote number 52 is taken from the Kosambi's book introduction. Kosambi's book, the introduction to that book. And here introduction PP page number 212 to 216 is given here, and then footnote number 54 is says EBID page number 167-71 Kosambi introduction. Now here EBID refers to the book that came earlier. So here this EBID refers to the Goshal's book as well as Kosambi's book. So in case of Kosambi, he has written the complete name, Kosambi introduction page number 219. But here he has written only EBID. EBID means something that came earlier. EBID is it is an abbreviation of the Latin word ibidem, IBIDEM, and the meaning is same place. So for example, you have already referred to the book by, let us say, book by Akash Jaiswal, page number 21, and next information also came from the same book. Then you don't have to write the name of the author and name of the book once again. You just write EBID. If the earlier was let us say page number 20, and the footnote 21 also refers to the same book and same page, then just write EBID. If the book is same but the page number is different, then you have to write EBID, let us say 46. So it is a bit complicated to understand theoretically, but once you take this book, any kind of book which is having footnote, and you sit with that book, the things will become relatively clear to you. Well, then another abbreviation is used while giving footnote is LOCCIT. LOCCIT, what does that mean? It is, then instead of EBID, for example, let us go back to the same example. If you have taken an information from the book written by Akash Jaiswal and the information you have taken from the page number 20. So the first time when you write it, you will write everything like Jaiswal A, history of the Nagpur city, published by, let us say, Venus book, and 1919. I'll tell you all those things in detail. Page number 203, and the next information also came from the same book and from the same page. Then you just write OPCIT. That means it is again a Latin phrase. The meaning is opus citatum. That means the work cited above. So it is coming from the same work, from the same page. Mm. There is a one more way, that is LOCCIT, and LOCCIT is given only when you have to just write the name of the author. So that information is came just before that, and you can just write LOCCIT. But EBID is a very commonly used abbreviation. Well, this is a bit complicated. EBID is a very commonly used abbreviation, where if the information is taken subsequently from the same page, you just write EBID. If the information is taken from the different page but from the same book, then you have to write EBD and you have to write the page number. LOCCIT is from the same page, from the same book. So this is alternative to EBID, but generally EBD is more commonly used. Well, while giving a periodical, there are certain journal and periodical which are used by the scholar, and in that case, you have to write the name of the periodical, volume number, and page number. Then you see, if you are able to see this my word file, how the primary sources are given. For example, letters of Aurangzeb, file number 12, letter number 60. So you have taken certain information from the, you have gone to National Archive Kolkata, and there is a collection of the letter of Aurangzeb, and there are number of file, and out of that file number 12, and in that 12 number file there could be 100 letters. Out of that, letter number 60 is useful to you. So this is how you give the original source, the latest you are referred to. This is how you should give the footnote. And for example, if you are giving a footnote of a book, that is quite common. You need to write the name of the author first time when you are writing this, right? You write the name of the author, then you write the name of the book, volume, if there are any, name of the publisher, place of the publication, Pune, in which year it was published, 1993, and then page number 32, full stop. So this is how you give reference, you give footnote when you refer to the information from the book. Now here again, I have given another book reference. For example, footnote number 2, it is taken from the Sharma case book, Bhakti and Bhakti Movement. And you see here there is only OUP written. Why only OUP? Because Oxford University Press is a very famous press. So you don't have to write complete Oxford University Press, just OUP is enough. New Delhi 1997, page number 37. Now you see here EBID, the thing I have explained. Now it is given just EBID 56. Now what does that mean? EBID 56 means that this information of footnote number 3 has came from the same book, that is Sharma K's book, Bhakti and Bhakti Movement. So you don't have to write everything once again. So EBID, just write 56. So it indicates that this information came from Sharma's book, but from page number 56. If it has been only EBID, that means the page number is also same. Now, on the fourth footnote, the information came from Deshpande's book, but Deshpande's book has referred earlier. In between, there is a Sharma's book, so you just can't write EBIT. That will be again confusing. Everybody will think that that information is from Sharma's book, but the information is taken from Deshpande's book. But Deshpande's book's detail you have already written here, so you don't have to write all the details once again. Just write the name of the author and then write the page number. So everybody understand that Deshpande's book, page number 80, the information has came. Now, how the chapter in the book is referred. So here, if suppose there is a person called Diwan A who has written the chapter Temples in Nagpur, that is the title of her chapter, and that is published in the book which is titled Culture of Maharashtra, and that book is edited by Dandekar, are edited, and it is published by Sahitya Akademi, New Delhi in 1988, and page number 45. So here you have to just a little bit practice it when you write a research paper or when you write your thesis. You need to practice it uh, while giving footnote and references. But here I'll explain this thing once again. For example, you have taken information from Alia Diwan's chapter titled Temple in Nagpur, and that chapter is published in the book which is named Culture of Maharashtra, and that is edited by Dandekar. It is published by Sahitya Akademi, New Delhi, 1988, and page number 45. Well, now if suppose sometimes there are two editor instead of one, so there you have to write the name of the both. See, rest of the things are same. Diwane Temple in Nagpur. Name of the book is Culture in Maharashtra, and there are two editors. For example, Nandekar R and Pandey C edited, and everything else remains same. If the editors are more than two, then you don't have to write the name of three people. You have to write the name of Dandekar R and others. If there are only two editor, you have to write the name of two. But if there are more than two, then you write Dandekar and others. All right. Now, how the journal publications are to be referred to, or footnote, how the footnotes are to be given. When you take information from journal, you have to write the name of the author. Then this is the title of his research paper, Agriculture, Taxation in Arthashastra, and that is published in the journal which is titled Indian Historical Review. This is a volume of that journal, volume number 9, which was published in 1998. It is published by Sage Publisher from New Delhi. So this is how you write the footnote when you take information from journal. Then if you are taking certain information from website, then you must mention the date on which the information is taken, and if possible also give the URL link. For example, this is my own paper. So if you are taking certain information from my own paper, how it is to be written, or anybody like Khangai R, my name, then in inverted comma, write the name of the paper, and it is published in the which journal, that is Think India Journal, volume number 22, issue 10, published in November 2019, and it is on this URL that I have copied, I copy and pasted here, and you have to write the date. on which you have accessed this information on the internet. Because internet, people may change it. For example, somebody may refer to this book, this article, and I may just remove it. I can do that. And then somebody wants to verify, he may not find it. So you have to just mention the date, on which date you have accessed the information. So this is about footnote. Footnoting is generally given, as I told you, when you want to acknowledge the source, when you want to give additional information, when you want when you know that this information has already covered in the previous pages, or it's going to come in detail in the next pages, you want to give a detailed information. Then in that case, if the information is too long, then instead of end note, you must use the appendix. End notes are also sorry, instead of footnote, you must use the appendix. If the footnotes are given at the end of the chapter, then that is called end note. Everything pattern remains same. If the same number of books are used repeatedly, you don't have to write every time the complete details of the book. You can use EB, page number, or you can just use the name of the author and page number, so that things will become clear. When first time when you give information, you must give a detailed information, so that there remains no confusion. This is how the primary sources are to be mentioned in the footnote. This is how the secondary sources like books are to be used. This is how the chapter in the book is to be used. This is how the journal publication is to be used. Remember that when you use resources from the internet, date and URL should be given. So this is where the information about the footnoting is done. Now let us go to the next small topic. Is there any doubt about footnoting? You can tell me, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will go to the next. That is about.
Excuse me, sir.
Just a minute.
Hello. Sir, is there any rule for that footnotes?
Yeah,
Hello.
Somkuvarji, footnoting
Uh,
rules, footnoting pattern I told you, like you need to write the name of the author, you write the name of the book, you write the name of the
okay.
publisher, you write the name of the year of publication, and you write the name of the page number, right? Now, this is a usual pattern, but sometimes depending on the journal, there are different styles of giving footnoting. For example, there is a Chicago style, and then there is a something called language of association style. So what generally I do is that, for example, if I am writing my research paper for one particular journal, let us say Indian Historical Review, so what I do is that I take the earlier issue of that journal, and I see how the footnotes are given by the scholars, and then I change the pattern of my footnote to suit that journal. Because sometimes, like here the footnotes I show you, the year was given at the end. Sometimes the year is given immediately after the author's name, year of publication. For example, Khangai R in bracket 1993, and then the title of the book Bhakti Movement, and so on and so forth. So there will be little bit of changes might be there here and there, but it should have all the information. And generally it starts with author's name. That doesn't change. I have not seen anybody writing the name of the book first and writing the name of the author later on. They will start with the author's name, and after that there could be little variation. They may give the year first, somebody will just write the name of the book first, and then lastly they will write the year. Sometimes only the name of the publishers are given, and the name of the place are not given. At some of the places I found that name of the publishers are not given, only name of the place is given. So little bit of variation is there, but the intention is that it should give all the information. And please remember one thing, follow one pattern. For example, it is not that in one footnote you are writing the name of the author and after that you are writing the year, but in second footnote you are writing the name of the author and then writing the name of the book, and year is coming at the last. It is not that will disrupt the flow. It should be having a one similar pattern, and that you can, whenever you go for writing research paper and all, you can refer to the good paper of that same journal, and then you follow the similar pattern. All right.
Okay, sir. How many footnotes can we give on one page?
Like you can, there is no strict rule like that. But you can give as many. Only thing is that it should look, it should look decent. For example, it should not happen that your main information is only this much and footnotes are this much. So you
Okay.
see here, your main information is ending here, and you have footnotes here. So footnotes might be coming even less than one third of the pages, but there is no such rule. It is quite possible that at one of the places, if you have to give a lot of footnotes, then it's quite possible that your narration may end in between, and then there will be a lot of footnoting. So you see here there are, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 footnotes, but here you see only two footnotes. All right. Here
Ah,
again,
okay, sir.
you see 5, 6 footnotes. So it depends on the information. And you see on this post, there is absolutely no footnote at all. But here again, you
Acha.
have 5, 6 footnotes. All right.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
there is no standard. It doesn't say ki you should give only 100, not more than that. For example, and generally, I mean, to be very candid, the more number of book you refer to, the reach will be your output, and subsequently there will be more footnotes. Like when you read lot of books related to the particular topic, the research paper or your thesis will just flow out of you. You will have lot many ideas, and you will be able to put those things in the paper, and subsequently to justify or authenticate your argument, you may have to give many footnotes. All right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay, anybody is having any other doubt? Otherwise, we will go to the bibliography, which is related to the footnote only. Well, well, are you able to see this PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So bibliography is a list of all the primary and secondary sources that is used in the research, and that is given at the end of the research. Well, there is no bibliography here. I'll take another book. Yes, okay. See, this is a book, Research Methodology in History, and while writing this book, the author has used number of books, and he has not given footnote, but he has given end notes here. You see here end notes at the end of this chapter number 8. He has given these notes, and the pattern is same. He writes the name of the author and all that. Only thing is that instead of footnote, he has given end notes, and at the same time, at the end of this book, he has given this select bibliography. You can just write bibliography, don't have to write select bibliography. You can just write bibliography. Now, how the bibliography is given? Bibliography is generally given to give information about all those resources that you have used. It could be primary resources and secondary resources. And generally, it is believed that when you write your thesis, that you should separate your primary and secondary sources. So first you give references of the primary sources and then the secondary sources. And in that also you can separate them depending on the languages. For example, primary sources you are using for Maratha history, let us say. So primary sources could be in 3 or 4 many more languages. There could be Marathi primary sources like Bakhas. There could be Persian primary sources like Mughal record. There could be British primary sources like record of the British factories. So you divide the sources first into the primary and secondary, and again you divide them into the different languages. So for example, here I'm starting with primary sources, and unpublished primary sources. Again, I have divided the primary sources into the two category, unpublished and published. So unpublished primary sources are kept in the archives generally, and you went to the archive, and there you found in English certain primary sources, and you refer to that. For example, Surat factory record, which you found at National Archive, Kolkata, file number 13 to 23. So this is how the bibliography is to be written. Then in Marathi, you found certain primary sources, Peshwa Daptar, Khanda 1 to 23. And where did you find that? You found that in Itihas Sanshodak Mandal, Pune. So here you see, here there is no page number because this source you have used at number of places, and these sources references have already came in the footnote or endnote. Already at number of places you have written Peshwa Daftar Khanda number 2, file number 13 or page number 13. Surat Factory Record, file number 14, file number 15. All that detail information about the source from where you have taken the information comes in the footnote or endnote, and here in bibliography you have to just mention the sources. There is no need of writing any page number. So here, that is the reason you see there is only Surat Factory Record. Where did you find it? You found it at Kolkata National Archive. And which files you have used? You have used some around 8 to 10 file. Your 13 to 23, 10 files you have used for your research. Then in Peshwa Daftar, you have used all 23 volumes. There could be, I am not sure, Peshwa Daftar must be having number of volumes, but volume number 1 to 23 were useful to you. So you mentioned that, you mentioned the name of the place. Then there are certain primary sources which are published. This also we have discussed while discussing primary and secondary sources. So for example, this is Sabhasad Bakhar, and it is written by Krishna Jananda Sabhasad during those period, Chhatrapati Rajaram's period. But this handwritten text is edited by somebody and published. So you did not get that handwritten text. What you got in your hand for your research is a published text, a published Bakhar, and that Bakhar you are referred to. And this is how the published primary sources are to be referred to. You have to write the name of the person who has edited it, Joshi, Shana, Sampadit, edited. And then this is the primary source, Krishnaji Ananta Sabhasad Vicharit Adya Chhatrapati Sri Shivaji Raja यांची Bakhar. This is the title given on that Bakhar, and it is published by Varda Publishers. Varda Publishers, Varda is a well-known publishing house, so you just write the name Varda. It is published from Pune in 216. Then Ambedkar's book, for example, that is Ambedkar has written it, and then it is published. It was published in his own lifetime, and it is published by Venus, Pune, 1967. So you have to write it like this. Ambedkar Bhimrao Rao Shudra Kon Hote, published by Venus, Pune, 1967. All right. Well, and now secondary sources, how they are to be referred to. For example, Deshpande's book you have used, let us say, History of Ancient Marathi Literature, Volume 1, publisher, from where it is published, and year of the publication. Again, you must be remembering something from footnote. At the footnote, what was the difference? At the footnote, when you first time refer to Deshpande's book in that chapter, then you write all these things. Also, you write page number. Here, in case of bibliography, you don't have to write the page number. You have to just list out the sources. Sharma case book, Bhakti and Bhakti movement. This also we have already referred to. We are referred in the footnote with page number. Then this is again same. I have taken the similar example so that it becomes easier for you to understand. This book we have already referred to, Diwane Temple in Nagpur in Culture of Maharashtra, that is edited by these two people, Sahitya Academy New Delhi. There it was page number. Here we don't have page number. Then here you see the journal publication, Gopalius Agriculture Taxation Indian Historical Review, says New Delhi. Again page number is not there. Well, this is how you give. Then if suppose there is a yeah, in secondary sources, these are the English sources. In Marathi also you write the similar pattern. Write the name of the author, name of the book, publisher, and then you write the year. Then again similar thing you have to do here also. If you are referring to certain chapter, then you are getting some information from interview, then you have to mention this interview of Babasaheb Purandare conducted on 23rd December at Pune. All right. So common mistakes what we do in bibliography is that you refer to those books, you mention those books in bibliography which you have not used. You don't follow the similar pattern. Primary and secondary sources get mixed up, and textbook are not to be used in the giving bibliography. All right, so your meeting is going to an end, so I conclude very quickly. I hope bibliography and this footnoting is clear to you. That is one of the way we standardize our research. We give proper references. If there is any doubt, you can ask me quickly. Otherwise, I will take your attendance because your meeting may end. We are facing certain problem from Kisco earlier. Just a minute.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.